This episode of Rookie Hunter is proudly brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. Become a member, renew your membership, and join the Less Than One Club at wildsheepfoundation.org. And make sure to check out Sheep Fever, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Foundation. Do your part to put and keep wild sheep on the mountain. Hey guys, welcome to episode 158. As promised, a little recap of our backcountry bear hunt. Brought out a prospective new hunter, my good friend Kelly Veltri, and promised you guys an update. So that's what you're going to get on this episode. I'm going to try and keep this quick. Zoleo is not a paid sponsor or anything like that, but they did send me a device to try out, a satellite communicator, and I love it. So I want to let you guys know that there is a spring promo going on right now. The regular $269, they're on for $199. That's a wicked deal to get yourself a satellite communicator. I've been using mine like crazy, just because I've been out a lot. I take it on all my backcountry runs where I'm at a cell service and there's lots of rattlesnakes around. We brought it on this hunt that you're about to hear about, and I've been bringing it on 4 service roads where I'm out of cell range too. So I've been kind of putting it to the test. It's worked absolutely flawlessly. You can't usually get a satellite communicator for this low of a price, and I think the competitor is like $450. So I'll put links in the show notes. I think you can actually get them at like Mountain Equipment Co-op. Those kinds of stores are also running the promo, so if you want to go in and grab one, do that. They have a list of retailers that you can check out, but they were also kind enough to give us a promo code. Again, doesn't benefit us, it's just for you guys. The code is Rookie Hunter, all one word, all caps, and that'll save you $25 on your activation fee once you fire that thing up. So take advantage of that. Again, I'll put the links in the show notes for you, and let us know if you pick one up. Again, I love mine. I'm not being paid to say that. I'm just being honest, and would love to hear your guys' experiences with them. One last thing, the Wild Sheep Foundation is still running the draw for an incredible hunt, caribou hunt, which is a goal of mine in Northwest Territories. If you've never been up there, it is next level. So with that, if you're not a member of the Wild Sheep Foundation, they're also going to give you a 1-year membership. So awesome way to become a member and to get your name in the hat for an incredible hunt in the Northwest Territories. But that's enough. Let's get into this one. Sit back, relax, crack an ice cold beer, and enjoy episode 158 with our friend Kelly Veltri.
Cheers. MGD.
It's the champagne of beers.
That's what they say.
My old man loved these. And then I think the only place you could really get them was if you went across the border to Juanita there, the gas station. And I think you could fill up your tank and bring back like a 6-pack of beer. So he'd go down there, save a few bucks on gas and get some beer.
Good old Juanita.
Yeah.
Cheap gas
and chew. It's good for that. I remember I used to because I think I had a fake ID. Yeah, I did. So I would buy a pouch of chew and just like stuff it under the dash in my dad's truck, fill up his truck, and then smuggle some chew across the border. Good times.
Badass, man.
Yeah. Kelly, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Mike. How about you?
Good, man. Just, I'm sure it's probably confusing to people, but this is yet another Kelly. There seems to be a lot of Kellys in my life.
We're good people.
It's true. So, Mr. Veltri.
Yes.
I think on the last episode I did, I kind of let people know how we know each other, but we go way back to high school. I don't think we knew each other before that. But you and Molnar have known each other for what, since you were kids?
Yeah. He lived about 2 blocks from me in our little village of Montrose. Yeah. So we kind of grew up together. He was a grade younger than me, but we still kicked with the same folks. So
Yeah. And then Garrett, you guys were in the same graduating
Marcon,
class.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah. So Marcon jumps on here every once in a while.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. I mentioned too that you and I mean, you're kind of the reason why I ended up in the Okanagan. You had a friend, you were going to film school.
Yep.
Had a buddy that was doing the audio program, needed a band.
That's right.
So we packed all our gear up and drove up from Trail to do some recording.
That's right.
For free. I don't think those recordings ever got finished, which is
didn't they?
usually the way of Cato.
Yeah, and then you and Gare moved down.
Decided that
about a year later or so, right?
Yeah, it would have been, I think, a year later. Fell in love with being in the studio, and man, been here ever since. So
yeah, same. Yeah, I went to film school and just never left Kelowna. So
yeah, people always ask, like, so you work in film, like you meet famous people, and like, well, I don't really do like the movie side of shit, but I always tell them your story. Like, well, I got a buddy who got run over by Ron Perlman.
Yeah, I did. He fucked me up pretty good, but I'm good now.
If people are wondering who Ron Perlman is, he was in Sons of Anarchy. What was his character in that?
He was Clay. He was like the stepdad, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we did our, I guess, well, that wasn't really like your first hunt, because you were telling me that you would go out as a kid with one of your buddies. His dad was a hunter.
Yeah. Not so much hunting with him, but like my dad never hunted or fished, and so my best friend who lived next door, his dad would take us out and sort of shoot the bow and arrow or go to the gun range. So we never really went hunting with him, but sort of learned how to kind of do some of those outdoorsy things through him.
Yeah, and I mean, grew up in the Kootenays, so it's pretty hard to avoid being outside. Just in general. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys your age. You're almost 40.
Yeah,
40 this year, right?
Thanks for
that are getting into it kind of late in the game. I mean, Kelly and I only got into this like 7 or 8 years ago now.
Yeah, right. I remember that.
So it's man, it's not uncommon. We kind of thought it was an uncommon thing, but I think people are wanting to like know where their food comes from and all that kind of shit. I mean, it's like the adventure side of it too, right? That
it's kind of the funnest part of it is sort of like, getting there and the trials and tribulations of it all.
Yeah. So I know, like, I think you've kind of expressed interest over the last couple of years. I know when we've been working together and stuff, we've talked about it and we finally got out, but what's the reason for wanting to get out there and try it?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it's just because it's something that I've never done before, sort of. I mean, I was, when I was doing that hunting show on the adventure trail, which was about 15 years ago, we did go out on a hunt, but it was like, what do you call it? Like a fenced hunt? Like, a farm. So like, it wasn't, like right away, I was kind of like, this sort of sucks. Cause it was like, there was these huge elks and huge buffalo, but they were all just like, in a fence, and they would call them in with food. And so, I've kind of experienced the side of killing an animal and watching it be skinned and taking its meat, but I've never really experienced the side of like put a backpack on and go, and hike for 15 kilometers and hope that you see something and track it and, find footprints and all of that stuff. So it's always something that I've been interested in, but I've just never done it. So yeah.
Sweet. So you have your PAL, which is your firearms license.
Yeah, I got that a couple of years ago.
Nice. And so now you need your core. So we'll talk about our backpack trip a little bit, but now that we've gone out there, like, are you more interested in it? Are you more motivated to get your license?
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was fun. It was a good workout. I wish we would have shot something, but I guess it's not how it goes all the time. But definitely, even just to have my core, even just shoot some small game and stuff like that, right? So
yeah, man. I think I was telling you like August, some small game starts to open up, so you can go out and do snowshoe hare, which is pretty fun. There's lots of areas where you can just burn around. We can even go on like bikes and then bring a 22 and just cruise. And then once you get into September, there's grouse and all that kind of stuff. It's fun, man. Like sometimes I enjoy doing small game more than big game stuff because your odds of success are much higher
Right.
with small game, right? So
There's much more of them, and they're around, right?
Yeah. I know you've tried wild game. I think some of it was from New Zealand, right? From
Yeah, we
had
tried
tar
some. We
and
tried some tar,
Yeah.
which is like I don't even know how to explain what a tar is. It's like a goat
Yeah.
and a sheep put together kind of thing, but it was very exotic. I think we had some sausages or something from it, didn't we?
We did, yeah. And that was from the show. So have you tried like elk,
Oh yeah,
deer, all that kind
yeah.
of stuff, and you like it, obviously?
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's way better than the beef that you get from the grocery store.
Yeah,
so,
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't let me forget before you go, I have moose.
Oh, right.
So you can finally make those burgers you were dreaming about.
It's the first thing I did when I got home was went to go get a burger.
Nice. So yeah, now that we've done that hunt, man, like what kind of hunt? I mean, you said small game, but are you starting to think about like big game? Like you would want to go and try and find some deer, or you just want to take it slow, like one step at a time kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would like to do is, continue, say, like going out with you, whether that's for, a bear or an elk or a deer or something like that, and just kind of like learn the ropes a little bit more, like I'm very inexperienced when it comes to actual hunting, but like I know enough about it, but like if it was for me to come time to like skin it or something, I would have zero clue of like what to actually do. So just sort of getting that kind of experience, and obviously, you get that through other people. So I'd be interested just in sort of following you and following Kelly around and just kind of learning the ropes that way. And then maybe when it comes time and when I actually get my core, then being able to go out by myself or with my own friends or like other friends. Right. And figure it out that way.
Yeah. It's the thought of field dressing and stuff first time is pretty intimidating, but once you've done it, man, it's like, I don't know, you can't go too far wrong. I mean, you can, but
well, it's just like gutting a fish in a way, right?
Yeah.
Is, like once you do it once, you sort of know how to do it, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it'll be cool to, I mean, the only thing, the drawback about the trip we just did is we didn't see anything.
Nothing.
I mean,
we saw
bury the lead, but
2 snakes and some gophers.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, Earl got a marmart in his mouth.
He
That
did.
was the only successful thing from that trip.
Well, I don't know, because the marmot bit him. So
True.
bit his lip. So I don't know who won that one, but.
Yeah. So I should have called you, but what was it? Monday. I was waiting for some files to get sent, and I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to get out of here and go for a drive up in SFSR and see if I can find any bears. I saw 3 moose. So I mean,
oh, really?
Saw some bear sign, but just to see some moose, and they were all in different regions. So just sitting there,
Oh, that's crazy.
watching them with the binoculars, and yeah, they're such cool animals.
Oh, it's like, I always feel like seeing a moose is kind of like winning like the lottery.
Yeah,
right?
I'll take you up there. That'll be the next place we go bear hunting.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah.
Let's do it.
So yeah, our bear hunt, as people are probably starting to figure out, was more of a camping trip.
It was fun.
Yeah. But so when I mentioned like going on a backpack hunt, were you, like, what was going through your head? Were you concerned about it, or you kind of just,
I was concerned only for the fact that I knew it was going to be really physical.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm in pretty good shape, so I knew I could do it, but it's been a very long time since I've done like a 15K hike with 50 pounds like on my back. So I wasn't sure how well I would actually hold up. I wasn't afraid that I'd get eaten by a bear or something. That, I think my mom mentioned something about, oh, don't let the bear eat you. And I was just like, shut up, mom.
Shut up, mom.
Love you, mom. But yeah, I think my biggest concern was just like, can I actually get there without my knees buckling?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was impressed, man. And we did a hike, probably I guess the week before we left.
Yeah.
Must have been, right?
Yeah.
And just to kind of see how it would go. And usually you can tell like right away if somebody's gonna fucking die or if they're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I figured you would be fine.
Yeah, that was good.
You used my old Fjall Raven backpack, and you bought a few items.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you felt like you were missing, or things you might have left behind if you did it again?
I mean, if I were to do it again, I think I would just plan my food a little bit better. I was rather comfortable. It was, I bought the air mattress, a little blow up air mattress and pillow. and the water bladder, and I was rather comfortable for the 3 days that we were out. But yeah, I think it was more just planning the food better, because I had the sandwich the first day. I didn't think that it was going to last for the second day, so I ended up eating the whole thing. But then the next 2 days, I was just kind of eating like dried fruit and granola bars, and I just kind of wanted something a little more. And we did have those what do you call them, like those dried like where you put the water in and macaroni and pasta and stuff, and like that was good, but like I still kind of wish I just had something a little more substantial to eat.
You kind of have to. I mean, it's hard, especially for a shorter trip like that. You can get away with bringing, like I had those bagels that was like a nice way to break it up. But yeah, you're kind of limited to some degree. But I think, especially with the heat that we had, we're like,
it was getting hot.
Man, I don't know if we should eat this shit or not. Like, It's been in there for a few days now, and that. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's some guys have said too, it's like it's kind of good to get yourself used to eating that shit before you go.
Right.
So like slowly progress into like eating a bunch of dried fruit and granola and shit, so it doesn't shock your system.
Right.
And, yeah. Because it's kind of, I don't know, man. I find that sometimes I just don't feel 100%, even though like you're getting all the calories and stuff you need. It's just like I said before, it's like just eating fucking cement,
Right. Yeah. It's just like heavy in your gut kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So
yeah, I was just like, I was really craving bread for some reason.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like after I was done my sandwich, I was just like, oh man, I just wish I had like
more carbs,
some carbs, some sort of bread,
Yeah.
But yeah, I did leave still with food in my backpack, but it was just the sort of type of food, and I was just getting sick of it after a while.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's we can, next time we go on a trip, we can spend a bit more time, because you can actually make stuff like a little bit more homemade rather than doing the Mountain House or Backcountry Pantry. I think those are the two that we had. So I don't know, it just feels a little better, than a bunch of processed shit. It's not great.
It was still good though. Like when we were having that for dinner, just having like that nice hot meal. I think I even mentioned that to you like a couple times. Just having a hot meal was just sort of just good for the soul.
Yeah, totally.
At that point, right? Because just sort of sitting out in the woods for a couple days. And
yeah, definitely. But yeah, we had a good camp. We hiked into a small lake. But it was, what do we figure, 14, 15 kilometer hike in?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was about that.
That's a pretty long hike, man. And usually we wouldn't necessarily go that far. But the trail was relatively flat for most of it. There were some challenging sections in there.
Yeah, I'd say about 75% of it was pretty flat. So that made it easier.
The problem was though, and the reason why we had to go that distance was because there was no water anywhere, which for, what are we at here? May is pretty alarming, man, because usually, like I was showing you some of the creeks, they're small, but usually they're still running at this time. So there's lots of places where you can get water. And luckily, by the time we got to the lake, there was also like a spring running and the lake water. So we were set. But we had to hike 14 kilometers just to be around water and a little bit of shade, because we got into temperatures like they must have been, it had to have been 30 degrees in there, I'd say.
Yeah, I think it was like at least high 20s for sure. But yeah, I think like we kind of caught it right as the temperature was like rising, which at first we were like, oh sweet, like like good, it's not going to be cold, because I think like the 2 or 3 days,
even the day before
it was kind of rainy and a little miserable, and so it was good that way. But I guess for bear hunting it probably wasn't the best, because I know that when we went out that second day and we were kind of sitting on that around that bowl there, it was like, it was freaking hot. And I was thinking to myself, if I was a bear, I wouldn't be out walking right now, right? So.
No. Yeah. So we did see some sign on the way in, and I've been scouting the area a bit, and I knew there was a bear in there somewhere, but the further section, there was no sign of anything.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah. We saw some elk tracks, some deer tracks, but nothing, man. And usually you would see something like at least a deer, right?
You'd think so.
Yeah. But it was shock to, I think, even our system, just when you go from, cooler temperatures. I don't know what it was like, getting down to like, 3 degrees the nights before that. And then all jumps to 30 degrees overnight.
All of a sudden.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, poor timing, but luckily it was a beautiful spot that we were in, and we
Yeah,
kind of just hung out. We
we sure did.
the day we hiked in, we're like, let's just whatever, just enjoy it. We were sweating like crazy, and that we could have gone out that evening, but I mean,
I think we were really tired from doing 15K.
yeah,
I know I was anyways, so I was kind of happy that we didn't go out
Yeah.
that night, but maybe that would have been the night that we saw something.
probably
but
would have been.
Who knows?
Yeah. So the next day we got up, decent time. I mean, bear hunt, you don't have to get up at the crack of dawn, which is kind of nice. But I think we were out of camp around like 10, maybe somewhere a little before that,
I'd say so.
and hiked up to the spot where we wanted to hunt. And by the time we got there, just roasting, like
It
you
was
said, man.
hot.
So I don't know. We must have been out for a good 4 hours or something like that, 4 or 5 hours at the most.
Yeah, I think I looked at my step counter, and we did about 8K that day.
Nice.
So like there and back.
We
So
did a fair bit then. Yeah. And the plan was to just hopefully just go let it cool down. So we headed back to camp and hung out by the lake. And then, I mean, it just kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And even if we went out in the evening, I think it still just would have been too hot.
it was pretty hot around 6 o'clock there too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was,
And then started to think about it. And like, man, if we shot something tonight and then
what do we do?
we got to hike this thing out,
Yeah.
it's probably going to be rotting by the time we get it back. So it's going to be a waste of an
Waste of
animal.
meat, yeah.
So we said, fuck it. And we didn't go out. This is a lazy hunting trip. But I mean, that's part of it. It's like 90% of it is just wanting to go out and do something fun
Right.
and get away, because there's no cell service or anything where we were. But the plan was we'll just hunt our way back out, because we saw a sign on the trail on the way in, and on the way out, saw nothing.
Again,
Yeah.
think again, just another snake or something like that.
Yeah, one more snake, and
one
that
more
was it.
snake. That
Yeah.
was it.
So, I mean, yeah, overall it was a good trip. I just wished I could have like found some, like I said, some kind of life to show you, because sometimes that's just enough to like keep you energized and
Yeah.
keep you going. And like I said, just seeing like those moose the other day, I'm like, this is rad, man.
Yeah.
Just sitting here watching these. It doesn't really matter if I find a bear or not. But so we'll have to rethink another trip. That's the cool thing about bears. It's like it's a pretty accessible hunt. You can do what we did, which is pretty ambitious, or you can go cruise 4 service roads and just get out of the truck and
Right. Yeah.
blast something on the side of the road pretty much if you want to, right? But those can be fun, man. You can go hike around in some cuts and stuff like that, and
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm
pack some food. We could even put a barbecue in the back of the truck or whatever. And
I mean, yeah, that sounds fun too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, any takeaways from your first backpack trip?
Ooh, that's a good question. Takeaway. I mean, I guess just sort of like the physical aspect of it was like the biggest thing, right? And sort of, looking at the kind of gear like that you had, even like that water pump, which saved our ass, because like, I mean, I only had 3 liters of water packed with me, which isn't enough for a day, especially on a 15K hike. So just sort of seeing like some of the stuff like that you were bringing in your pack, and I know that your pack was a lot heavier than mine was.
Yeah, I wanted it to be enjoyable for you, so I packed an extra 20 pounds so you didn't have to. So you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, man. But yeah, would definitely be looking forward to actually seeing something next time, and hopefully killing something and taking its meat, and then enjoying that meat. But we'll hopefully we'll get that chance again.
Yeah. It's funny, man. Like the thing is, but like the easiest part, I mean, hunters say this all the time, is shooting the animal, and then the work after that
Right.
is where things like that's where the real work begins, because
Right.
you got to break it all down, and then you got to pack that thing out too, man.
Mhm.
So it would have been interesting if we got one to hear your perspective of that, because we probably would have had to do 2 trips in and out of there, and
right.
yeah, it would have been a bit of a nightmare. But I mean, I was telling you, like the first time I got a deer, I suffered packing that thing out by myself. It kind of makes you enjoy it more when you're eating it, and you're like, yeah,
Because you worked for
I
it.
worked for this
You
thing.
literally
Yeah.
work. Yeah, you literally
I've got scars on my arms still from
blood
that
and
one.
sweat, and yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Just tastes a bit better, eh?
Yeah. On the backpacking side of things, would you, like I was telling you about the Juan de Fuca trail and stuff
Mhm.
like that, would you be interested in doing more like backpack trips? Because I mean, it doesn't always
Absolutely.
have to be hunting. Once you have the gear, you can.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, man.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
And yeah, like I mean, I've got all the gear, which is nice, and you don't need two of everything. So, like you're saying, you know, if you want to do a trip like that, we can do it and share. Like, I need the filter and all. You
yeah,
don't need to double up on it and everything. And I think that's a mistake that Kelly and Garrett and I make all the time. Is like we're bringing duplicates of everything. Like they both have spotting scopes, which is a ton of weight. I mean, we only need one fucking
right.
spotting scope, and
Yeah,
we don't all need a water filter. We did that one time too. It's like, why do we have 3 water filters? We
That's-
could have just
yeah.
brought one, and we don't need 3 rifles either. We can leave at least one behind. And
it's true.
yeah. So
Just extra weight.
it's I think it's just fun when you get the gear. You're like, yeah, I want to try this new thing that I got and bring it with me and that. And then you
Well,
get
you
to
buy it
enjoy
for a reason.
Yeah.
You buy it to use it, right? So
Yeah. And then, yeah, every year you kind of sort of like refine your list. When you go out in the spring, like I brought the recorder, which we didn't use. I brought my camera. I didn't take one fucking photo with it. Like all this useless shit, right? And then, of course, you need extra batteries for all that stuff.
yeah,
And,
it all adds up.
yeah, but I guess the times that you do use it, it's worth it. So,
Well, I guess like that's the thing is that you never know.
yeah.
Right. So like whether it's a camera or whether it's a piece of hunting or hiking gear, like
Yeah.
you don't know until you need it. And if you don't use it, then you're like, oh, why did I bring this? But then if you need it, you're like, oh, thank God I have this.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Do you think you'll start picking up little bits of gear here and there? I mean, to get it all, it's ridiculous, but you just pick up one thing at a time. Like
Yeah,
you've
I'm-
already started doing it.
I'm the kind of guy who usually goes all in once they find a hobby. Right. So like, you know, even just the lead up to this, going to Mech or Atmosphere and looking at all the things and going, oh, I could have this, I could have that, but this might cost me $1,000 if I
Yeah.
do. But yeah, just like slowly over time, I'll start picking up more and more stuff, and it'll probably be like a backpack would
Yeah.
probably be like the first one is like a good backpack,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then just sort of pick up like, you know, all of the other essential things. And I mean, I have a bunch of stuff like for camping anyways that
Right.
are, you know, would also work, you know. So like it's not like I'm starting from absolute zero
Yeah.
in a sense, but yeah, you know, I'm definitely the kind of guy, and you know, of course, like you know me, I'm like a film guy, and I have a rental house, so I'm always buying film gear. So one of my favorite things to do is to go out and buy stuff. So I'm sure over time I'll probably pick up everything I need and be ready to go at the drop of a hat.
Do you like doing all like the research?
I like just going to places and
Just
just
buying
like
it.
and just like putting them like in my hands and you know, obviously research, yes, because you're not going to just go waste money, but like I like to sort of go and check it out, and I can spend hours like in a store like looking at 2 items, just sort of like debating if I should get one or the other, right? So
how did you like what was the name of the air mattress that you got?
ooh, good
The
question.
sleeping pad.
I forget.
I forget too. It's kind of I can picture it.
You sent me a picture. Hold on, maybe
But it wasn't that expensive, and it packed down pretty
it was
small. So I was kind of
was-
thinking, man, I should get one of those because
it was about $80. Climate.
Right.
KLYMIT.
Yeah, I actually wasn't too familiar with them, and then I saw them there, and like that's a good price, man. And then I looked into it, and the reviews on them were awesome. They're not insulated or anything, so it's more of a spring, summer, early fall type thing. But yeah, that's one of the things I sort of realized after this. I'm like, man, I could get some smaller. Like everything's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So the pad that I have is insulated, which is great because I use it like late fall and everything. It's warm enough. But yeah, my pack was it was huge.
Yeah, I felt bad for you, man.
But I also like the torture of it a little bit too. But
well, I was going to offer to like take some stuff off you, but then I thought,
But you didn't.
no.
Thanks, man.
You just got to put something on Earl. You need to give him some more.
Yeah, well, he was carrying his food and stuff.
Yeah.
But I should have put something in there, put some more stuff in there. But yeah, man, you should start looking for a pack. And like I said, if you want to do Wanda Fuca this summer, it's like you just keeping yourself sort of in shape for backpacking, right? The more you do it.
Yeah.
And I've actually got a sandbag upstairs in my place that I'll throw in my bag. And just walk
do you
around
do
with
that?
Yeah, it's like
it's a good idea, actually. Yeah.
40 pounds or something like that. But yeah, it's good, man. You just start going, you add a little bit of weight to your pack all the time. Just go for hikes and a little bit more, even if you're just going up Knox, just throw the pack on. And get used to it that way because it's a bit of a shocker.
It is, yeah. I mean, like I go to the gym like pretty regularly, and like I said, I'm in pretty decent shape. But like, I mean, especially like on the way back, and I think I even told you I would just like my shoulders are screaming right now,
Yeah.
and it was just sort of like the position of the pack. I didn't have it quite, but like nothing prepares you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can't go and lift weights and sort of replicate
Wearing a backpack.
the kind of pain that like 40, 50 pounds like on your back
Yeah.
for 15 kilometers uphill feels like.
Once you get used to your pack, I was trying to kind of show you, but there's different ways where you can move the weight
Yeah.
around by adjusting the straps. And I mean, I'm kind of messing with it every couple of kilometers, so the weight is just a little bit different. The way it's
just
sitting.
a bit. Yeah.
Because you can put more on your hips or more on your shoulders or more across your chest. And yeah, it's just kind of tweaking it and getting used to it. But either way, it still sucks. There's no way around it.
There's no way around it. Yeah.
Yeah, even with a good pack. How are you feeling? Why we went to Beer Fest the next day? You looked like you were feeling pretty good.
You know what? Yeah. When we went on the first hike the week before, my legs were absolutely killing me for about 2 days afterwards. But when we went on this trip, I think I was a little sore the second day of the trip, more just like muscle tired. But then when we actually got home, I was fine. And I think that's just because, you know, we basically went hiking for 3 days straight.
Yeah.
And my body was just kind of like used to it. And like, yeah, I wasn't sore at all. We went to Beer Fest and maybe the beer helped, but
Yeah, maybe.
but I thought I was going to be dead for like 3 days afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was fine.
I met this dude years ago, and him and his girlfriend biked all over Europe, and I was kind of interested in it because they would bring like a little chariot trailer with all their camping gear, and
yeah.
they would just ride all day like a pedal bike,
Yeah.
and then just set up wherever. And like, man, how do you train for that? He's like, you don't. You just start pedaling.
Just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you train as you go, which I mean, I wouldn't suggest that for everybody. It is kind of true though. Like you throw yourself in there and I think your body just realizes, okay, this is what
you're doing.
What you're doing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Got to deal with it. So,
Yeah.
and I think you also just kind of get used to the pain a little bit over those few days
Absolutely,
or whatever.
yeah.
And then it slowly fades away.
Yeah. It always sucks for like the first hour,
Yeah.
but then you kind of like just sort of goes away after a while, right?
Yeah. But yeah, man, on the way in, after that 14 kilometers or whatever it was, ready to take the pack off. And we got like the last 2 kilometers, like, fuck, man, I want to get this thing off.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Well, even on like the way back, and like, you know that you're getting close to like the car, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you're getting close and it just starts to hurt a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then I guess it didn't help that we both ran out of water for like the last like 2 kilometers, but thank God there was a creek, but
yeah, trying to drink all my water just to lighten the load, but then drank too much apparently and ran out. Yeah, man. I think overall it was a good time.
it was super fun.
We did see some wildlife. We had a couple of loons, geese that were keeping us entertained.
They were like living like right, but like they were our neighbors.
Pretty much.
They were living on the lake, like 30 meters from where we set up the tent, pretty much. Right?
It was actually fun because we spent so much time sitting at camp. Like we were starting to like learn the dynamics of, because there's like 4 geese that were hanging out. We're like, okay, what's going on here? And they're fighting with each other, and then 2 paired up, and then one was nesting and kind of like aggressive toward it's pretty wild. It was like watching a nature doc.
Yeah, it was like Discovery Channel or something.
Yeah. And bats. We encountered a lot of bats too.
Yeah, because there was sort of this rock wall like right above our camp, and they would come out like, it must have been like 8 p.m. or
somewhere
so,
around there,
and then but they were only out for like an hour or something like that.
Yeah, not too long.
And I was actually just reading yesterday that bats sleep for about 19 and a half hours a day.
Oh, because we were wondering about that, man.
Yeah.
It seemed like, I'm like, what the fuck do they do when they're not?
They're
sleeping.
Yeah.
Out for 2 hours at the most.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple that were hanging out, but yeah.
But
Eat and then
I was actually surprised of just how quiet they were, because all of a sudden they were just sort of like, it would like kind of fly by your face almost, and you wouldn't hear it, but it would scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, well, like, these things make absolutely no sound at all.
Yeah, not necessarily something you want flying in your face, but
No.
they seem to have it under control. But yeah, man, we'll have to do it again. And
Oh,
there's
please.
other backpacking trips we can do around here, just to keep in backcountry shape.
Absolutely.
And yeah, man, if you want to join us, I mean, it's easier for you and I because we're both self-employed to just say, hey, what are you doing? Want to
Yeah.
fuck off for the afternoon? So maybe we'll do some more of that. And I know Kelly wants to get out with us too. So it'd be fun if the three of us could go do something. It's like a time thing, man. The more time you put into it, eventually something's gonna
Yeah.
happen, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I'm down anytime. Just let me know when you're doing it,
Yeah.
and I'll be there.
perfect. And hopefully we'll get some meat in your
Ooh,
freezer.
I got a big empty freezer right now.
That's
so,
good.
yeah.
I have no room for a freezer in my place, so a friend with a freezer is a good thing to have. Nice, man. Anything else you wanted to add before we wrap it up?
I don't know, man. No, it was like I said, it's a good time. It's physical. I enjoyed that part of it, and yeah, it'd be great to go out again and learn a bit more, and hopefully see an animal this time.
Definitely get your core sooner than later.
Yeah, definitely look into that.
And then you'll have it for September or even August, and we can go out with your 22. And it's more fun if you can be on the rifle, right?
Yeah.
Rather than watching everything, and we can still show you what to do. And
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
It gets addicting, man. So be warned, and it gets expensive, but it's one piece of gear at a time. And it's funny, Kelly and I look back at some photos of like our first hunt. And we're wearing like blue jeans and a shitty backpack and like just like running shoes, and we're out there climbing around. So, I mean, you don't necessarily have to have all that shit. You can get out there with very little as well. But you do need to get yourself some binoculars, because I've never seen someone so excited about binoculars.
Yeah.
So maybe invest in a pair of those, and we'll take care of the rest for now.
I'll look into it.
Awesome. All right, buddy. Thanks, man.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. Episode 158. Nice quick one. Wasn't really much to report. It was just a badass cabin trip more than anything. But that's why we do it, right? We get out there and enjoy the scenery. One thing we didn't mention was like the stars were incredible. We saw this like amazing meteorite, I guess. This thing just like lit up the sky. These are all the things you miss when you're at home, especially for me in Kelowna, right downtown. I can't even frickin' see the stars. So a nice reminder for me to spend more time out there and to bring more people out into the backcountry, especially, friends and stuff, but getting kids out, man. I just was sort of reminded of how much time we used to spend out there as kids, and how important it was to shaping the human that I am today. I'm super grateful that I grew up in a family that not forced me, but encouraged time to be spent outdoors. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hopefully this is an ongoing story with Kelly as he becomes a hunter. I'm going to keep pushing him to get his core. And excited to get him out there some more and hopefully show him some animals. So we'll be back in a week or so. And thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll chat soon.
Thank you.